because they're all contracted. They all got state. I forgot. Sorry. Let's get back to the legal, lawful, the understanding. They all got state contracts. They all got licenses and registration. They're all doing illegal business out of a legal service provider under contract. So they're going to hold you to those contracts. So really, we're just back to square one. Sorry, I asked a very scary, unsavory question. The answer is you don't belong there. Get the fuck out of that slave hole. Go to the middle of nowhere. Grow your reefer lawfully and share it with community members who are worthy. There's your answer. Right. The same answer I got. Sorry for that scary question, because also you don't have guns on New York. And if you were going to get them, they'd be legal as well, because they already told you you're a fucking slave on every level. So you really can't do nothing without having a fascist system used against you at this point. And there's levels to that, of course, everywhere you go. So we're already in it. It's already there. Sorry. Penal power is.
I have a question though. What's kind of funny is how can a person open up a place that big and have such publicity on the outside and not have any government things and what you need to open it. You just like open up something New York, and invest $250,000 in the building and shit like that.
Vancouver
and shit. You just do that, and all of a sudden the government pops in and they fucking shut everything down. It's like, that's stupid. Wouldn't you fucking already research all of the laws, the fucking permits that it would take them to open up the store and shit like that?
Dude, you're in a Wild West scenario. We've all established that these people don't give a fuck about us. We all know they're going to come for us anyway. So when you're in New York City and there's millions of people and you go, listen, we all got weed anyway. We're sick of the nonsense. Whether it's technically legal or not, we're opening up a store and we're going to push it. They're pushing the boundaries because they don't care. Just like myself with traveling. They don't care no more. Your shit's a fucking nonsense game. We don't want to file the papers. We don't want to beg you to have our rights back. We're just going to open it and sell the reefer. You want to come get us? Come get us. Because you're just going to move the location anyway. You guys act like this shit hasn't been going on from the beginning of time. It's going to continue to go on. You can bust it and make a bunch of money. You're not changing the outcome. We all know it. And again, you're fucking retarded if you because you're going to waste money on that. You're going to waste time, energy, attention, and money, and then have to go to court on New York with a bunch of fucking arrogant slaves. So you're an idiot for even staying there and open that up anyway. You could have went to fucking somewhere else. If you're going to be in New York and do it, you may as well go to California. They're equal shitholes. You could have went to California and fucking cashed out if you had to do it legally. But again, they obviously don't care. They're kind of like me. They're like, we don't care about legal and illegal. We're going to do what's lawful. We're going to sell the reefer. When you come get us, we're going to open up a new spot somewhere else. You're not going to stop it. And they're really not interested in what it's going to, like, they're going to go to court. They're going to say, well, you were selling weed. You know, you're not supposed to. You're doing it everywhere else. So pay us X amount and go away. You're probably not going to put them in jail or prison at this point, although I guess you never really know. And then again, there's a part of the subconscious that says, we're all going to probably have to wind up at court or at jail at some point if this continues. So, like, why even just keep fearing it or be scared of it? Let's just do what the fuck we're going to do. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. You know, because, yeah, we've all established at this point it's ridiculous. They're going to sell cigarettes and alcohol and pharmaceuticals and all the rest of it, but we can't have reefer. We're done. We're done with the games. We see you for what you are. We know what you're about. And you don't want everybody on New York smoking reefer and becoming like Pauly Boy because it's a threat to your fucking fascist authoritarian system. You want them drunk and on their fucking pills that make them numb and selfish. And you want them chasing money and serving your systems. And reefer's the antithesis of that and always has been. Because motherfuckers smoke weed and start realizing the majority of the shit that everybody's doing isn't even really worth doing. It's a waste of fucking time, energy, attention, and resources.
I always knew when I was younger that, you know, it was just a matter of time before they completely infiltrated and co-opted, wouldn't be the right word, but completely took over, you know, the market. And that was the goal the whole time. I mean, that was, and now we see how much percentage of the total supply of, let's just say cannabis in this example, but now growingly psilocybin too, and everything else, probably even the kratom and all this shit, man. Guarantee is made in some type of government funded fucking lab, you know. Well, I don't know about the kratom per se, but I have seen I have looked. If you look on the back of packaging, you can see where it's made, and if you what do you call it? Follow the money. It's not that hard to see.
Bro, when I was suicidal, I was getting ketamine from the veterinarian because
When
we
you were
had people
psilocybin?
who,
I'm just kidding.
what?
All right, keep going. I'm trying to make light of. All right.
You're an idiot. When I was suicidal, we had people who were getting them bottles of ketamine from the veterinarian, and we were distilling the shit, not distilling it, evaporating it, and turning it into powder. And I was using it personal use. I wasn't even really selling the shit because I found it to be so valuable in whatever the fuck I was doing with my own sickness that I just would get it and use it therapeutically, if you want to call it that, injecting it, snorting it, all types of shit. You know, and I'll argue that on some level that probably added to whatever the turnaround was, you know, that was experienced within me. Does that mean that I necessarily promote these drugs? No. I really don't know what it is. I don't know what the fucking consequences are. I don't know how it could go bad or wrong. I just know my experience. And just because I saw some value in it doesn't mean I necessarily promote it for everybody. But I also find it to be interesting that they're going to try to put me in jail for it while then turning around one day and telling everybody, hey, this is the greatest thing ever. Come down to the hospital. We're going to inject you with ketamine so you can change your whole internal space in life if you're really that fucked up. And I go, yeah, when you're suicidal and down and out and don't want to live no more, if a shot of ketamine can change your perspective, why the fuck not? So, yeah, there's a fine line between using these chemicals as tools that might lead to a better change and a transformation versus a whole society who's now being encouraged to use drugs regularly because they can't co-create and cope with life on life's terms, which is partially what they're doing, just like California. Now they're just sanctioning, they're just, opening the whole thing up to the idea of, free trade and free usage of methamphetamine, street produced, crack cocaine. So they're basically telling everybody, well, you're all doing it now and stealing too. We're just going to say that you could do it and there's going to be no consequences. That's how it should have been from the beginning. If you would have did that and then didn't import all the shit, it never would have happened. We know they brought in the crack and the meth. We know black people weren't sitting around with Erlenmeyer flasks and beakers figuring out how to make crack and meth. Cut the bullshit. These are high-level scientists and chemists who gave down these equations, and then people started mimicking it on the lowest level. So, I'm not buying it. Crack and meth would have never been in our reality if it wasn't for the underworld where you criminalized the drugs and drove the value through the roof, and a whole bunch of organizations who got together to synthesize these things and give them to certain communities. So yeah, man, if the shit was never illegal to begin with, if it was all lawful to do free trade as grown people and make our own choices, people would use cannabis. They'd probably drink alcohol. We've seen that from the beginning of time. All of these other drugs are in the last 30 years or 50 years. They're all designer drugs. They all need lab grade equipment to produce effectively. And I'm not buying that this is a natural, organic, authentic movement. The shit was manufactured and synthesized and given to communities to destroy them from the inside out, while profiting off of it with private prisons, all organized and distributed and co-created from a deceptive, dark, manipulative group of people or state of consciousness. Because I don't think it's that organized when it comes to the people doing it. I think the consciousness is organized. And it looks like organization within the people, if that makes sense. It's a state of beingness. All right? We're going to overthrow creation. We're going to do it better than that. We got a whole bunch of shit we're going to mix together and heat and cool it down and create some super substance. And of course, it's highly addictive and destructive and does damage to the beingness after you stop using it. Cannabis doesn't seem to do that. There's more evidence that there's a cannabinoid system in humans where you should be using cannabis, or at least we've evolved to use cannabis. And when you don't have it, you lack certain things like empathy. So one might have to wonder what the adaptation element of human being is, who seems to now have always had or developed and adapted a cannabinoid system probably as a partial coping mechanism to a world from the beginning of time of division, disconnection, warfare, and colonization, aka slavery. So it's probably no coincidence why all the folks who choose a spiritual walk and don't want to be a part of Babylon and the colonization effort, like the Rastafari and others, certain Hindu groups or Middle Eastern groups, they're all the same person. They don't want to be owned. They don't want to be treated like property. They want to farm and live off the land, and they use cannabis and hash from the beginning of time, while everyone else drinks alcohol and uses their Babylonian pharmakia. These type of people and those type of people. And we're always seemingly crossing back and forth. I guess maybe you could argue once you cross over from one side to the other, you usually never go back completely. More of a matrix idea, I guess, right? Once you're kind of red-pilled, if you will, you can never really go back. Once you got the truth or true enough, you could go back, but it's never going to feel the same as it did before you knew the truth or became aware of it. You'll just be going through the motions.
Yeah, I don't think I ever told the story of one of my last conversations I actually had with my father, but it was mind blowing, dude. He basically told me, in summary, like, when I was your age, I was 17 at the time. When I was your age, he was probably meaning a little older, though. I would imagine his late teens, maybe early 20s. But he's like, when I was your age, man, I was slanging crack, I was smoking crack, I was. He didn't say it like this, but yeah, he just put it all on me. I'm like, damn, dude. And he said, he just blew my fucking whole lid off, because the way he put it, hearing it from your own father when you didn't know any inkling of that. But then again, the 80s, the crack epidemic, I mean, that was probably a normal thing back there. It's smoking crack or selling crack, let alone like smoking it. Everyone was fucking using it, at least cocaine. But yeah, it just blew my lid, dude. And then after he passed, I find this whole album, like a little you get the pictures from like Walgreens or whatever, and it's like in a little thing, in a little paper whatever holder, a whole thing, just like a big grow op and shit. I was like, man, there's a lot of shit I did not know about my dad, man. And then sure enough,
Yeah, bro, that's the thing, right? The
Good idea.
archetype of Shaitan
Good job.
is almost necessary to get man to break away from their corrupt family and society. So we all go through this period of, like the Luciferian being, we don't want none of your guidance. We don't want none of your, family. We don't want none of it. Like the goat, right? We go our own way. That is the archetype of the goat, like the Baphomet. I've been a goat most of my life, bro. I'm not a sheep. Now, the thing about it is, by being a goat, you learn that there is a flock for you, right? So you come back to being a sheep to the flock. It's just not for man and man's terms. It's for that thing. So I walk a line like a sheep that's put down by that creative force, as far as I can tell. So you rejoin the flock as a sheep, but that thing is your shepherd, not your family, not the institutions, not the ways of the world, right? But in order to get to that position, it seems like you got to become a goat first. And that's the thing. Your father probably became a goat because of the abuse and the trauma and the confusion, and he never changed back over to the sheep for the true flock. And that's why he probably took his own life, because you got to walk that path in order to learn to do what's true and what's right. If you don't cross back over to do what's true and what's right, it will take you down what you've done in the past and what you continue to do. Because he could brag about selling crack and making money and all that. There's a part of him he killed off to do that. And if you don't reawaken that, it's going to take you down to that dark aspect of self. I know it because I lived it. That's why I'm saying, when I do the bit non-bit of being a daddy here, bro, it's a lot more true than it is a non-bit. Because kids like you or young people like you need to hear from me the process of leaving the flock originally, becoming the goat, and then joining back, so you don't go to that goat phase and stay in that phase, right, and become like them. You got to rejoin back with the flock and with the true path and purpose and be led.
Yeah, but on another note, it's not on this topic, but just a synchronicity. It was funny because I walked away for a little bit about a half hour ago to get some snackage or whatever, and Batman was on TV, and then I come back and I'm catching up. You mentioned Batman. You mentioned magazine covers, which I've been on the cover of a magazine one time when I was younger. I was on the cover of when I was like 13 or 15. A couple years after I was on bar mitzvah, I was on the cover of a bar mitzvah and wedding magazine or something. It was like the biggest bar mitzvah wedding magazine or something. And so I thought that was funny. In the same like 10 seconds, you mentioned Batman, which was just on TV downstairs, and a fucking magazine cover, and you mentioned my name, all in like 30 seconds. So I don't know, just yeah.
No, I get that, Pineal. I mean, again, you're so focused on finding the synchronicity, you haven't accepted the synchronicity. You don't have to look for it anymore. You've already proven it. You've already gotten the validation, and you regularly get the verifications from without. You got it from within and without. Stop looking for it. It's there with you. Just work with it. Walk with it. Follow the thread. Right? Get out of the observer mode. You've lived your life long enough as a passive observer. I see the way you join panels and passively observe. Get active in some state of beingness in yourself and in life. You've already got the proof that the thing is working with you. You wouldn't be here and having these experiences if it wasn't. You know it's true. And it's not about me and me being a cult leader or any kind of leader. If any true leader is responsible for leading you back to yourself, right? Not telling you what you need to do and be, but pointing you towards something that when you look, you find, right? So that's all this process has been for you and many others, because we're all one self. We all have the same background. There's all the same reasons behind it. There's all the same reactions or responses to it. And then there's all the same solutions to what plagues us and ills us. Nobody's special and unique here. That's what gives what I do so much power. He couldn't see it. That's the thing. You're searching so much because your dad could never see it. You've already searched, seek, and you'll find. You've been seeking and you found. On some level now, you know what you need to know. And now it's about doing something different to create something different and breaking that generational curse and bond. You got to become a player in that game. If not, it's going to take you down as well. Right? So the best thing, like I told you before, you could do for yourself and not only him is break that generational curse and that bond by observing the darkness, reconciling it, and doing the next right thing as much as possible. And you will start to feel and see yourself differently. And so will he and whoever else is still watching. And at that point, it really doesn't even matter, because you start to become one with that thing and feel that change. And you've already, I'm sure, seen it in play on some level throughout this process. Like if you really checked in with yourself, who you were when you showed up here versus where you're at now, regardless of what you're even doing differently, I'm sure there's a different perspective and feeling on life and who and what you are or could be.
Yeah, 100%, 111%.
Yeah, we all got what we already needed, bro. We've all got the validation from within and the verification from without. Our intuition's been there the whole time, leading and guiding. Our resonation has been there the whole time, keeping us with some folks focused on certain things and away from other folks focused on other things. All right there, right? Then you got to accept it. Okay, it's been there the whole time. We're now onto it. We got some discernment. We're back on a movement, on course, and we know what needs to be done. And we know why, because that's all we're doing here, right? Fulfilling our purpose and meaning and undoing what has been done to us, whether it was known or not. It's just the quality of this beingness in these families and these institutions with these situations. And we're bigger and better than that at this point. We know that. Once you get to the point where you have answers for yourself and others, you're bigger and better than all the rest who claim to have answers that lead to their undoing. No other way to perceive it. Greetings, Snafu Snaps, Warthog Creature Extraordinaire.
What up,
Greetings,
Matthew?
Mr. Paul and Slavia. And
You were
all.
right again. I gave you your credit. I acknowledge producer Snaps. You sniffed him out again. I want that to be clear.
Hey, did you see that officer capping that immigrant fucking that lady in broad daylight in the street? He dumped like 2 mags in him. It's the new officer, the immigrant screwing this lady, broad daylight. Officers show up and boom, boom, bang, bang, and help stop the, daylight rapes.
Boom, boom, bang, bang, ba, 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 da, da, da.
It's crazy. I should find that footage for you, but great stuff. Been listening. On point, yes, sir. And thank you for witnessing the optics, Paul, Mr. Enslavia.
Priest says, well, you don't have to thank me, sir. I actually can't turn off my awareness at this point. At one point, I couldn't turn it on, and then once it was turned on, I can't turn it off. So no reason to thank me. I'm just entertaining myself and everyone else in this beast system Luciferian simulation test, if you will. So, yeah, I've already gotten my thanks in various ways. You can't ask for an awareness and then get it and go, holy shit, now I have to do something with it. I thought this was about nirvana and enlightenment, like many of the love and light folks who got deceived again. Like, I thought that this was about, love and light and ascension and following your bliss. And it is, but it also isn't, because then you're like here and you have to do something with it. Or you can just wander around like a lot of these other folks, bumping into people and claiming like it was meant for you. Greetings, Christos. How are you?
Hey, yeah, I see we're all bringing some gifts of grace here, and Snafu hopped up. I just wanted to let him know I appreciate his appearances on Bex's channel as of late, following that little side arc, and good stuff. It's good to see the community crossovers, I would say.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Enslavia has done it as well as you guys. Everyone has a Truthio, and I think it's good to see the moving on structure that we're all doing.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, if I'm going to claim to be, or folks are going to claim me to be a leader, then I probably should put more time, energy, attention in limiting my time, energy, attention on these other folks and what they do, or engaging in those discussions, right? Because I think that there's a more productive or positive, if you will, energy, at the risk of doing toxic positivity. It's just more grounded and real and authentic and open to give and receive. When we don't have this walled up, kind of distracted, detracted, disempowered, clutching energy with us, right? So that's why at times I refocus and get these people out of my chat and out of my experience, because I want to bring the best out of the folks who show up here, or I want to give them the best when it comes to conversation and content. I'm tired of the low level, low frequency, back and forth shit that goes nowhere, and I think everyone else is too. If we're going to do it from time to time, whatever, we play with it, we do the simulation, then we got to refocus and rebalance, because you'll notice when you do that, the addictive quality itself is expecting what it's used to again, right? I notice it in me, and that's when I go, oh, I definitely need this right now, because that addictive quality in me is expecting the controversy and chaos, and it's not necessary, and it's not productive, and it's not beneficial. So then I practice walking that path for as many days as it takes, again, till I don't have that calling out or crying out like they do and other people. And you've shown snaps, and even I've shown it at times in the past, for the chaos, the controversy, to expose the liars. I don't need that rah-rah energy. Right? It's there. It's available. I'll use it if necessary. I don't have to be in that mode all the time in order to feel alive. Right? So, yeah, that's just kind of what I'm like. And again, you may be at the whim of my inner space. Right? You may argue even that's chaotic, because I may go a few days, few weeks going, I don't want to talk about them and focus on them. I want to do what we do here, or even leave early if possible. I want to just walk that path. Then I go back to, hey, you hear and see this? You saw that? You hear this? Let's go over there. Let's mix it up. And then we're right back to that, right? So maybe what I'm learning is you just don't go back. Just like ex-lovers, just like drugs that you were addicted to that no longer serve your highest good. I just walk that path and keep walking it, and then new people show up and maybe we do it. I get them out and I just keep doing that, because it seems that there's a relationship to this push-pull, addictive quality, what it does with me in the broadcast and where it goes versus where it circles back to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But I think also the weaponization optics are ramping up. The New World Order beast system optics in general. Like I said, I yell pedo pogo for reasons, but I think when it comes to people like you who are on the like legit shit, you got to realize that there is a weaponization to it. And so there's many spiders in the web, and you're doing your part.
Yeah, but aren't they powerless? Like, do they really have any power other than the power we give them by allowing them to be here or putting awareness on them?
Do you let the people fucking be just dumb fucking idiots, or do you still try and be fishermen? Because here's the deal. I get it. Like, I'm at a point with certain people, it's like, there is no helping.
But watch
fixing
this, bro. But I love when you ask me the question. Just give me the question, because then we can build off that.
Yeah.
We don't ever
That's
stop
the
being
question.
fishers of men. We just stay in our lane. This is my broadcast. So I come here and I broadcast my net. Whoever gets caught in that net and winds up in front of me to have the back and forth, we do that as long as it's productive and in good faith, right?
Well, you know, and here's another thing.
I don't
people
have to go in their pond in order to broadcast or to do fishermen and men. It's not wanted there anyway. It's not received.
Here's something I got to point out, though. You're not afraid to have that conversation with anyone and everyone, or, you know, whatever. What I notice is with these governed channels, so to speak, the love a buddy, hug a buddy fucking optics is part of those channels. You know, like, you at least let the genuine flow of both the yin and yang, the good, the bad.
That's the thing. You got to understand, like you say, there's two worlds here. We know that. And at the risk of always lifting self up and putting others down, which is a game we all like to play, I realize that I come here from the beginning and still at times, regardless of what goes on, for a co-creative mechanism. These folks are on here for a coping mechanism. We're not on the same walk, and we don't have the same discernment and intention, and we don't get the same results. So we have to be aware. They're on here to get with each other and identify and cope with the reality they're not changing. I'm on here changing my reality in myself and in the world, and I'm on here to co-create with others who want that and are doing that. I'm not on here to cope. Far from it.
No, I agree.
We have to decide. Do we want to go with Paulie Boy for the day and do co-creative endeavor, bring our issues, problems, conversations, and let him build with us? Or do we want a coping mechanism in which you can go to Slow State, Slave Cot, and Slimthia? Because that's where they thrive, coping with each other and themselves by making shit up and pretending like it's all going to be good if they just meet online every day and do a jack session. I'm not into it.
There's many more to that list too. Hey, you know, I was thinking about what we were talking about, that water system shit I showed you and we were talking about. You know, it would be good, like you said, but then again, what if it broke down because, you know, HVAC or blah, blah, parts in general, like it would be probably a bitch to fix, or probably a bit like find parts and shit. Like, I could see the benefits like we we're talking about, but like in generality, big systems like that, I guess, you know, maintenance wise, you would almost have to have someone pretty much understand that machinery before buying it, I guess.
Yeah, well, I got that guy with me, Ramiro, who he can fix anything. And with that said, when I get back with him,
the case, then those systems would be good. But if not, and I don't know, it's kind of like, is it American product like Ford, Chevy versus, you know, foreign with those machines, you know? And because
the reality of it is, when you're doing this shit right, whatever he knows, I learn. And wherever we live, we have a warehouse or a workshop. And we have various metals there. You construct your own parts. That's what people do. If something breaks, you go in the workshop and you take a piece of metal and you fashion a new part and you put it on there. There used to be a time there was no such thing as Home Depot and Ace Hardware. You knew what you knew, and if you had to know more, you learned it, and then you did with that knowledge what was necessary to keep everything going. We've lost touch with that. And it's ironic because we live in the age of information. You can find out in an instant how to do everything and get proficient at it, yet we don't. So, you know, it just shows it's exactly what we need right now. Use the damn YouTube and the rest of it to gain more talents and abilities and skills so you can use it in your own life daily to create or experience value and keep everything working. Whether that's conscious and awareness or metal fabrication, it's all the same idea. They want to come on here to be entertained all the time and fuck off. Or they want to come on here to cope with their causes. You don't have a cause because we haven't seen the effect. When you have the proper cause, the effects show up and the solutions are there and available and you can give them away. You don't have that. The majority of folks who come on here claim to have a cause or solutions. The effects aren't there. The results aren't there. So we come on YouTube, one would have to think, if you're a conscious human being, to grow and to learn and to become better and to bring value here or back to your life. If you're not doing that, what's the point?
Well, you know, there's many ulterior points, you know, frequencies, nanotechnology, fucking programming, you know, MK Ultra.
Yeah, feeling good about your horrible life and lack of understanding and bullshitting with other people or wasting your life being entertained. And there's going to come a time where life demands something from you and you ain't going to have it or be able to do it because you wasted all the days before fucking off with loser failures. See, people in the past obviously didn't have an option to do that. If life demanded something of you and you didn't have what it take to met it, you fucking died. So people made sure that they fucking knew what they needed to know and were able to do the next right thing. Because if not, you ain't going to be there no more. Well, we have society now. Everybody gets to sit at home, fuck their days away, and somehow get taken care of. This wasn't reality. It's not reality. And we're fast going back to the old reality that's never left us because the illusion is going away. You're going to have to be able to grow food. You're going to have to be able to grow your own medicine. You're going to have to know what's what and how to use it. You're going to have to be able to upkeep some machinery if you want some, convenience. You just act like these cultures and societies are going to last forever. The technology is always going to be there, and you're never going to have to know who and what you need to be and are and what to do. Someone's always just going to be there to give you a fucking position or a handout so you can get along and survive. It's the biggest pathetic embarrassment I've ever seen, and you can trace it all back to the Industrial Revolution. That's why I tell folks like Simon, your technology has been the worst thing ever for you as a human. Made things a lot easier for you as a human, but you've lost touch with who and what you are and what the purpose and meaning of coming here is. You can't even survive at this point, let alone thrive on your own or with a community. Are you kidding?
They did a poll of how many American, especially with the younger generation now, knew how to change a simple tire off of a car. And all these fucking kids are like, well, we use AAA. We have AAA automatically on our insurance or whatever the fuck it is, and it's just sad. Oh, they did another one a while back. This was a few years back, but they took these people and said, make a spoon, right? And most of the motherfuckers went out there and fed on the flattest piece of stick they could or a leaf. And then one motherfucker sat there and whittled one. And that was the whole fucking thing. The motherfucker who sat there and whittled one, right? Like you said, he MacGyvered it up, made a spoon. These motherfuckers used what they are laziness. This is my spoon. No, it comes down to again, we are
because they can't imagine anything outside of whatever's presented. That's all that is, a lack of imagination. Used to be human being pick up something like a rock and turn it into a fucking sculpture with an iron tool and take days and weeks and months to do it. Now, just whatever the fuck is presented, we'll just accept less for ourselves, whatever's here, because we got no fucking imagination. Everything they look at, they don't see what it could be. They just see it for what the fuck it shows or what it says. That's the difference between a co-creative person and a person who could just cope with doing less with themselves and have no imagination. And they wonder why they see me as a creative person, because I'm a co-creative person. Everything I look at, I see the potential with and what it could be, just like a block of stone or a block of wood. These motherfuckers look at everything, don't see anything with any imagination. They just take it on face value and accept less for themselves and everyone else and everything else.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I agree with your statement about the Industrial Revolution and then the weaponization of
giving. Look at the houses now, Snafu. You go some places, they got houses from the 1800s, 1890s, or 1900s. Each house is individual, has its own feel, its own class. They got wood carvings in there. They got, stone working. Go everywhere now and go into every house or every apartment. It's the same toxified, cheap-ass, plastic, fake wood bullshit. It all looks the same. There's no class. There's no energy. There's no co-creativity. There's no originality. There's no imagination. There's no nothing. It's a completely unimaginative, sanitized, inhuman society at this point. Just call it what it is.
It's a weaponization, as you said, on the imagination of of society, and it's
somehow more expensive than ever. You got to pay more than ever to get the cheapest, low grade, unimaginative, toxified shit. What happened?
Or look at all these mansions that are fucking quote abandoned, right? Like huge, big ass, as you said, like beautiful architecture, just mahogany.
Well, he just answered it right down there. When there's no character in the individual, everything the individual produces lacks character. That's all it is. Systemic loss of soul, and therefore loss of character, and therefore loss of creativity and co-creativity and imagination everywhere in our culture and society. It's not a coincidence.
And then people have the wrong. They did this sleep study with infants too, which was really, really quite interesting. And how many infants, I guess, from the age, very young to the age of, I guess, 7, use telephones. Okay, because we all know that we are pretty much AI, robotic in a sense, dehumanized. We all are part of that grid. And they did these sleep studies, and kids were like swiping left and right. Kids were like texting in their sleep. Like, it was the nuttiest fucking shit ever. And adults did it as well, but the infants did it even more. And what was nutty about it is, like, if you really do think about it, you go to a restaurant, you go everywhere. That's the new babysitter, the TV, the phone, the game.
It's sickening. They had me watching some child. Well, I chose to, whose father wouldn't be in his life. Little black child. And I just couldn't fucking imagine how you could look at that child and not want to come home to it every day or never be in its life. And then the sickest part is, not only is he a freak who never comes around for who God knows what reasons, he's too busy doing whatever else. The mother just sits the children in front of a big screen, lets them watch fucking Nicki Minaj. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. And then I had to look at myself. I go, how much of a hypocrite am I? Because I'm out here bumping finesse and smoking reefer and talking my shit. Right. But like, again, and there is no excuse, because you know what? If you keep them off of it in the screen, but they hear you outside doing it, it's going to leach into their consciousness and they're going to be attracted to it. And when you say, why are you doing this and watching these people and acting like them, they're going to say, well, you do it on some level. Right. I mean, that's the reality. I could bullshit and say, well, I'm out in the car doing it, and they don't really see it or hear it. No, they see it and hear it at some point.
No. That's the resonance. That's the resonance.
My point is, why the mother of all people? I'm a man. And I'm not making excuses. I am, but I'm not. I'm a man. It's whatever. You're a woman. You're supposed to have an ultra motherly, caring discernment about what you expose your children to. I guess with that said, maybe I'm not the perfect man or father for a woman to expose their child to upon revelation. When I look at it, I guess I'm growing here today.
But let's even get down to the root of it. God forbid the shit they shouldn't be exposed to, even the fucking shit aimed for children. I mean, literally apps aimed for infancy.
Oh yeah, well that's even another thing. I watched them.
Little Blue's Clues, dumb shit, whatever. But the fact that they are digitally enhanced from infancy, like, so to speak, like our phone is part of our daily lives. Our phone is part of your, the phone
the
is
point is, why would you? The point is, right? It's even one thing. Like my father, when I was however old, well, I don't know, 10, 12 years old, you got cable TV, right? You're flipping through the channels, and then you got Ice Cube on there. Slide, slippity slide. And I'm dancing to the shit and I'm into it, right? And, he leaves it on and we're having fun, whatever else. It's kind of different even from that to, she's got her kid there, the daughter and the son, who are 5 years old, and she's got Nicki Minaj and whatever else on the TV talking about wet ass pussy. And I'm like, and then they're like, well, we give them the remote and they do what they want. I go, so they're 5 and 8 years old. You already gave them this fucking TV connected to all this deviant behavior. And you give them the remote to control it, and you don't censor the shit out. And now you got your daughter watching this fucking freak show, right? And every one of these women is unattractive, right? Like, we can talk pussy and all the adult stuff, whatever. These are all disgusting, grotesque, broken whores. The Kardashians, the fucking Cardi B creature, Minaj, they're all disgusting. I would not get anywhere near them as a man. But then these are who's held up for the little daughters to watch, and they're sitting there watching. I go, what world am I in? I'm coming here to watch these children. You're not even paying me to do it, whatever, because I want to be here. They need somebody. Now I got to argue with this goofy bitch about how she's caring for her children or not caring for them, exposing them to these clowns and freaks and deviants. Then she'll be crying to me one day about how somebody came and fucked her daughter, because the daughter then, at whatever she was, at 8 and 10, it was over years, 8, 10 years old. I don't know how old she was. She's a very young child to me. I don't know if she was 5, 8, 10. Well, I don't know. Just way too young to be watching any of this shit. And then she's twerking around the house. And I'm going, you got a man here with your daughter who's fucking 10 years old, who's now giving me looks and twerking her ass. You don't see how this is going to end bad for somebody? And you bring in strange men in here to watch the children too? I go, I'm kind of one of them. Like, I'm not a stranger in the sense that you don't, like, you haven't met me or whatever, but you don't really know me. And you bring me in here and leave, and I'm here watching your children. And if I'm whoever, whatever, I got this little girl now twerking and giving me eyes. I can't believe what the fuck I'm experiencing. And they're okay with this shit. Right? And then they'd want to dress the boys up like little girls and dress these girls up like little whores. I go, man, you guys are demonic over here, huh? We're really getting demonic with this shit.
Well, and it's all. I mean, let's forget you the little Nicky, the piece of shit parents that just don't give a fuck, right? Even when the kids are watching the good shit, right? They think's the good shit, Disney and all the subliminal. You know, I just saw some of this old cartoon with the Gremlins. It was like a 1980s cartoon.
Bro, why do you need that shit anyway? Like I used to tell them, I come over there, I go, the woman would tell me, oh, they don't want to eat the right things. They don't want to sleep right. These kids are so bad. I had to like give her pimp game top to bottom. I had to like become her husband almost to get her in line. I go, you now want to tell me these are bad kids in front of them? I go, you're the lowest piece of shit. I go, you're a bad mother. What do you think of that? Because you got them in front of the screens wondering why they won't go to sleep. They should be outside running around and playing. So when I come over there, we're walking to the store, we're going out, we're talking, you're gonna go chase the ball, run with the dog, whatever, ride the bike. You got no business in a fucking dark hole stuck to a screen anyway. Have some fucking common sense. They're supposed to be running around like the animals. They're supposed to be playing together. They're supposed to be active and learning and enjoying, not in the fucking house stuck to Cardi B, telling them how to be a hoe and a trick.
No, I get, and if people really think about this, the televisions, the devices, the digital experience, so to speak, affected on just our offspring. Imagine we were just talking about the laziness of us, with a spoon or machinery and this and that. And so the laziness of us with just economic products that is also influenced on the family units. And plus with all the weaponization. And so at times, we see the fall of society and we say, what the fuck? But we also got to know those shits are turned up on the weaponization, but it truly is.
The other thing. He's down there on it, Snaps, real quick. Then you go into the fridge and they got all the red dye and all the Hawaiian punch and the Kool-Aid bullshit. I go, yeah, you got this kid cracked up on all this shit, completely inactive, and you wonder why he can't pay attention and go to sleep. You're the piece of shit in the home. You know how I know? Because it was me. That was me.
So why do you think they do that?
Right? The difference is when I was coming up, we were riding bikes still, playing sports, doing basketball in the street till the lights went on every day. Running around.
Yeah. No, I get it. Riding the bikes around, cruising I get it.
Fires in the woods, burning down homeless encampments. I'll keep it all the way funky. When you're young and you're running around and you go on the railroad tracks and you and your friends are from a broken home and you're ornery, you're looking for shit to burn down. And then if they got fucking, I'm not proud of it. When I realized, later you mature, I'm like, man, that was fucked up. We were so selfish and ornery. And just looking for something to take out our resentments on.
See, that's
we're burning down somebody's fucking home in the woods.
Hey, but see, that's a perfect example, Paul, because I tell all these cupcakes that society has already been fucked. Like, let's just be real. At least you're man enough to say, hey, that's fucked up. But see, these cupcakes don't even get that. That was years ago. And you were just a dumb kid fucking, I burned some shit down. And now it's being pushed, the violence and the craziness, and and some of these motherfuckers, that's why I say when they realize what real is, it's gonna be so devastating, so eye-opening, so awakening, because that was years ago. And that shit's existed.
Yeah, you're young and you're not mature, you don't know, and like I said, you got issues, so you're out doing mischief. After a certain point, you start to mature and develop empathy, and you don't want to harm other people or fuck with other people. You just want to live your life, do the best you can, and be left the fuck alone.
And imagine a young society off of big pharma medications, mental medications, and off of a digital experience, so to speak. Definitely an easy weaponization program, soldier of sorts to you. I mean, this is very, very strategically planned in so many ways, because I mean, imagine the kids nowadays, or just even adults, if all of a sudden the grid did go down or something like YouTube, just one platform, let's just say YouTube in general, went down for a month. Right? Of course, you'd have all these new ones pop, but like the freak out would be insane. It would be national news. It would be this. It would be that. People would be blah, 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 blah. You know, that's what I'm saying. The control and power they have over these mind control experiments through social media, digital experience is amazing. And I'm telling you, they're doing it from infant up because they understand the control it possesses.
Well, yeah, I mean, we know that more and more. We become more and more aware of that. We've always kind of known that and didn't want to look at it or accept it. Many folks, as we spend more time in the simulation and we see more and live more, it becomes pretty obvious that it's a long game, organized situation. It's just, how do people do that, right? Like, how could that be possible? But again, back to scripture, this is a spiritual war, principalities in high places. You know, beings or a state of consciousness that wants human beings to progress while finding themselves or recreating themselves in the highest version, versus beings who want to stifle the growth and evolution, dare I use that word, right? Adaptation, I guess you could call it, or just, you know, growth and development in order to keep control and authority, right?
Hey.
So, yeah, and then the best way you do that is by giving your subjects a whole bunch of tools and toys and tricks that keep them bondage and vice, right? That's why I say, bro, when you look at what technology is, if you want to look at Shaitan as an archetypal state of beingness that we embody, even if it's not something out there or a group out there, this technology, when you start to meld with it and bond with it, is a slippery slope from adapting and being able to overcome the environment versus losing touch with yourself and your nature in the environment and being destroyed from the inside out.
I would agree absolutely 100 on that statement. You know, you were talking about the cereals, and this was really interesting. We did a story on this a while back. The whole pogo shit, government owned, right? These Walmarts, these big chains, Fry's. Okay, the cereal shelves. This is something for you to think about.
No, it's all genetically modified, bro. I just the other day I went there with it.
That's true too, but I'm talking about the placement of the boxes on the shelves. Okay, the good grained ones are usually on the top, right? The like sugary bullshit Fruit Loops are in the middle or towards the bottom, so the kids, the most easiest reachable, the most
eye level.
The kids,
they want an eye level.
All stores do that. Look at that. They also, when they distribute these products, it's a mind control fuck, dude.
And you know what's funny too is, you see, if you start to look with different eyes, you will see patterns that are either there or not there, but you'll see them. So then you got to do something with that, because they'll call you a schizophrenic. But if you look at the aisle, right, you're drawn toward whatever is intuitively there with the colors and whatever. But like you said, they're either going to they're going to keep a section for the children, and it's going to be at their eye level. Then when you continue down the aisle, they're going to have the shit at your eye level, and then it's going to be above or below depending on how the placement is. Because again, the fat slave doesn't want to have to reach up and get, and doesn't want to have to bend over. So you'll see where they do the aisle where it scales down. They got it at eye level for the children, eye level for you, and then all along the way, it's in places where it's not intuitive for you to look and be attracted and grab and receive.
Yes,
so yeah, it's a lot of it is, you know, and they're going to claim, well, that's marketing. That's where General Mills has paid to have their shit on the shelf. And I go, okay. Conceivably on the lowest level. On the highest level, there's one thing running all of it. Right? That's what they're not able to conceive of. There's a randomness component and a deterministic component. There's a local aspect and there's a non-local aspect, if you want to call it that.
And that's
not a coincidence, is what I'm saying. There's not that many coincidences.
Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to tell the people. It's even like just the placement of items, you know, it's the, like, okay, for instance, how many motherfuckers know that the banana isn't even the real banana? Like bananas never tasted like that ever, wherever the banana.
Yeah, they're seedless too.
4 years ago, they said the banana was going to go extinct again or some shit. They're pushing that agenda here in the States. Like we weren't going to get. I mean, I'm telling you, The fake foods like in China and Russia, like cabbage, the shit they put and it turns to cabbage all of a sudden, and then the rice, of course. Have you seen the plastic factories where they just throw the fucking shit and it's rice? Like just plastic spits out as little rice, it's real. And I'm telling you, the weaponization is real. America is a huge experiment, as we know. So imagine when we get
just like the 3D printer phenomena.
It's going to be
now they're doing now they got these 3D printers out of nowhere taking a holographic world and making it real, and they're using it for food. They were showing how all these restaurants are 3D printing steaks. And I go, KFC, keep telling me how Klaus Schwab and the rest want you on fruits and vegetables to make you weak.
KFC
they just pimped you and played you.
Contract. KFC took on the 3D printed meats contract. It hasn't hit the States, but if you look in Dubai and other countries, which is very sad because, Big Clone, that doesn't mean they're not testing it without the world knowing, we have KFCs all around the United States. Let's just throw one out there, without letting them know. We're, big mafia KFC corporation. Who knows? I'm not saying that they aren't, but the fact is the weaponization of marketing all under the guys is still that's why I say, oh yeah, taking your data, the new gold, marketing, right? Pogo. But it is what it is. And I don't think people even understand it. And when you, like you said, when you look at those aisles, Paul, and that includes everything, includes our fucking clothing, includes our, they want us to take what they want to push.
Yeah, it's an almost constant humiliation, disempowerment, degradation ritual, just day in and day out, right? In these cultures and societies. And then they'll say, oh, I don't see what you're talking about. Well, how about the sparkling water that says liquid death with crossbones and skulls on it? And then these will be the same people who go, oh, like everywhere you go, they spit out the same fucking talking points that we all know. They'll go, the Morimoto experiment, where they wrote something on a piece of water, on a glass of water, and then looked at the pieces of the water, the atoms, and they were all fucked up and distorted and chaotic. What do you think happens when you drink sparkling water that has liquid death written on the fucking outside of it, fuck slave? You don't think they purposely did that to create the atomic structure of death and destruction so you'll take it into yourself and experience that?
Yeah,
you know what they're doing.
And here's another thing. Like, we know
the point is we could do all the same shit for ourselves in the other way. You can go make liquid life and put rainbows and kittens on it and sell it to everybody. And you can do white magic if that's your fucking gig. Because if it works one way, it's got to work the other way.
Yeah. It is what it is. And that's what I'm saying. I think that many are starting to see it. They don't know how to comprehend it. They don't understand some of it. And everyone's learning at a time. But if you can understand that the infiltration of, as you just said earlier, imagination, especially here in the States, has been in full effect, it's a very, very serious situation.
All right, snaps. We're at the 3-hour mark anyway. Jennifer just brought me some food. Give me the final word. We're going to wrap up. I'm going to eat some. I haven't eaten yet today. And we'll be back tomorrow. Good energy today. Good vibe. I'm pleased with today's broadcast.
Christos, my man, you've been ballsing up. Very nice to see you doing it, sir. All you guys of Unslavia, thumbs up. Hit the algies. The attacks are realer than you think. And fuck all you cupcakes. Jack Talcott, you Nazi, and Flow State, you pedo supporting Pogo. Fuck. The optics are high.
You fucking pieces of shit. Yeah, good to see you, Pineal. You know I love you, bro.
Yeah, Bex was on last night. She was chopping it up.
I was catching up.
Oh, okay.
Wait, I might, maybe I need to catch up on some more. I've been talking to her though.
Yeah, she came on for a bit.
OTW, I still support you, bro. Even though I've been giving you shit about the merch. So just know that even if the optics seem like I'm hating on you, I'm not ultimately. So. All right, y'all.
Peace.
All right, peace, Josh.
Just gonna sit here and keep drawing.
Yeah, I'll let him be the last one. I'm always the last one, right? So, and I'm probably gonna stream. So, I'm definitely gonna stream. So, appreciate you. Another great broadcast. God of all media, of course. God of all media. All right, I'm out. Peace, prosperity, Pino power, all those good things. I wanted to say, what do you think about people who say all magic is, obviously they're usually looking from a Christian or otherwise religious kind of lens, but white magic, black magic, same thing. It's all evil. It's all just magic's magic.
Hey, bro, we're all using words. Words all have power. We're all spelling directly or indirectly. So you're speaking life and co-creation into existence. How is that a negative, bad thing?
Language itself is magic. No, I mean, well,
it
usually
influences our inner space, does it not? What else are we doing here listening to this fucking gorilla?
What isn't magic is what I want to know.
Right. What is real, man?
Is this real, man?
Do you know where you are right now? I'm out. Much love.
The better question is, do you know who or what you are right now? I don't think it's possible to know where we are.
Extra dimensional.
Do you know where you are right now? That's you.
All right, Sean, weren't you leaving?
Yeah, much love. Peace.
We love you, brother.
I love you, brothers and sisters.
Go beat your baby meat and get something done today.
I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, love. Go ahead, OTW.
Hey, have a great evening, everybody. I'm just gonna keep drawing. I want to get it done before I go to bed. What do you think?
I think you got a talent. Yeah, it's good stuff. We need more gorilla imagery for the broadcast. We need more broadcast imagery. I mean, Wolverine's been drawn 1,000 fucking times. We need Snafu Snaps. We need a Mitchell creature. We need Wizard. We need me. We need the whole portrait.
Check it out. This is Christos when he's angry.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Right? And he brings out his claws there when we start selling merch. Right?
Right.
So you're next, Paul. I'll draw you next.
All right, cool.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be fun. You and the mic, and I'll probably have in the background a gorilla. I was thinking about gorilla. But a nice fucking, kind of like one of the gorillas that the Talcott Clip Collection uses.
Right, I want some of the other usual characters too, though. I want a Snafu Warthog. I want them to be half human, half animal, all of them. Mitchell's like a crane bird. Snafu's like a half warthog creature. I'm half gorilla. It's like Animorphs. Remember that old show they used to have where the people turn into animals and then back as superheroes? I want something like that.
Sounds interesting. Yeah, I think I got something. Yeah, absolutely got something for sure.
All right, get the hell out of here, Patrick. We love you. We got to wrap up.
I'm going. Peace.
All right. All right, folks. Resoundingly successful broadcast, as always, because I, a very modest god of all media, has hosted here today and facilitated and co-created many other things. I wear many hats. A jack of all trades, master of none, many times better than a master of one. Excuse me. Pizza. I'm chomping at the bit. All right, folks. Get something done today. Get the hell out of my face. You got no business still sitting here and watching me. What are you doing anyway, right? I'm going to put a guilt trip on you now. What the fuck are you doing here anyway watching me? You should be off making your dreams come true, right? Keep on dreaming. Don't imagine it'll all come true, but don't lose hope. Better yet, don't lose faith in yourself and what is available for you in this life, what you can co-create. Get out there and find out. Get in here and find out, more importantly. That's where the work is done. All right. A mazel from out west. of course, as always, an unslaved one out.